Guys and girls, ladies and lads, welcome back to the History Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning Journey. Hopefully my audio sounds fine. We realized because we're about to record with Jeexx right now, and as I joined the call, we realized that my audio levels had been, my audio settings have been reset somehow. So this is also a kind of a test for me, so hopefully this works fine. But just a very short, you probably know what we're announcing here. We talked about it extensively last time we talked about it previously. So now finally we're implementing the what we call the hand trap rule. So essentially, just going forward, we will have access to two hand traps, two different hand traps at like varying quantities. So if you want to run 3 of both, you can, but if you want to run only 2 and 3, that's fine. 2 and 2, that's fine, but you have access, you can add 2 different hand traps. So if you want to run Effect Veiler and Ghost Ogre, you can run those 2, but you can't include another one. If it's in the set, it's different. If Ash Blossom is in the set and you want to additional ones, then yeah, you can have Ash Blossom, Ghost Ogre, and Effect Veiler, for example. But I can show you the pool of hand traps. Obviously, not everything here has been... I think this is pretty extensive. I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I think this is pretty extensive. Obviously, not all of this stuff is out yet. I think Lancia is the newest. I tried to put these in like... Actually, no, these are definitely not in order. Yeah, because never mind. Contact C is out. Phantasme obviously isn't out. None of this stuff here is definitely out. I know Impermanence and Phantasme aren't out, but I think like up until like this point, I'm pretty sure we have it. So essentially, you just get to pick 2 here. Maxi is here because unless it's in a set, it's banned. Because otherwise, like we would always just play Maxi, and we reckon that that's a little bit boring. We'd rather not do that. So yeah. Simple. Going forward, hand traps are going to be a thing to consider in every single episode, which probably is best for the longevity of the series. So just letting y'all know that. I am realizing now that I should have done an audio checkout beforehand before I start recording this, but assuming that my audio levels are fine, this take that we'll run with, so smile. But yeah, enjoy the episode. Yu-Gi-Oh! An incredibly complex card game with tens of thousands of cards. However, what if each set was separated from the rest of the massive card pool and your choices when building a deck were extremely limited? In this series, in order to learn Yu-Gi-Oh! From the ground up, I will be embarking on an adventure through the history of the card game with Jeexx. In each episode, we will have access to all the cards in a select product, and using only the cards in that product, both of us will build a deck before playing a best of 3 match to determine the winner of the episode. We will move in a chronological order in the series, and with each new episode we will forget the cards of the past in order to experience something brand new. We hope you enjoyed this adventure through Yu-Gi-Oh! And its evolution with us. Welcome to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey. Pendulum Evolution was released in June of 2017, and while initially supposed to be a structure deck, it ended up being a main core set instead. While the set lacked any super insane power cards like Maximum Crisis had Ash Blossom, Astrograph Sorcerer ended up being an extremely powerful card and remains limited to this day. The set overall completely focused on Pendulum support and was the one final swan song for the summoning mechanic until we would very shortly after enter the Link era. Guys and girls, welcome back to the legendary Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning Journey. No, the History Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning Journey. We're not legendary, at least quite yet. And we're back with Pendulum Evolution, the penultimate Pendulum episode. That's a mouthful, oh my lord. Almost out of Arc 5 or Arc V, and at least I'm very happy about that, because you know me and Pendulums, but one more ride, well, I guess 2 more rides if you want to play that, also in Battles of Legend. Light Revenge, which I think is the final one. But today we're playing True Draco. After I initially had like more of a Odd Eyes Magician blend, but it was a really boring deck. And after last week, I actually quite liked how True Draco played. So I decided that Zoo is obviously now out, but might as well try as pure of a build as we can. And as you can see, there are only 2 True Draco cards actually in the set. So we had to go a bit over 40 just to have a comfortable amount of stuff in our deck. But I still think the build is neat. So we'll see how it works. But we'll go over the card by card and see what we're working with. So starting us off, we have Master Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, 2 copies, and then a third one in the side as well. It's a dumb vanilla beater that can pop a Pendulum card or be a 3 scale. We will most likely side out of both of these for games 2 and 3. It's here as because it's a true Draco name or a Draco name, but obviously same archetype, so it still applies. And we can use the Pendulum summon stuff if we want to. But obviously all of our stuff wants to be tribute summoned to get the effects, so probably don't worry about that. Lecter Pendulum, the Draco Overlord, is a monster that pops itself and a Pendulum monster if it battles a Pendulum monster, but more relevantly, this one actually has a Pendulum effect that we do like. Negate the effects of a Pendulum monster while our opponent controls them. I don't think there's a way for Jeexx to not play a Pendulum deck here, so might as well put some Pendulum hate in there in forms of this. And I will cover here the side card that will most likely side in. I'm thinking of like siding out of the 2 Master Pendulum and probably 1 Eccentric or maybe 1 MST if Jeexx is not really heavy on back row, for 3 copies of Vector Pendulum, the Draco Overlord. Another vanilla, we don't care about it as a monster, but it has the effect a Pendulum effect on negating all card effects in your opponent's Pendulum zone. So obviously, these 2 in our Pendulum scales basically means that Jeexx's Pendulum stuff just doesn't work, which is what we would like to happen. Assuming he's on a Pendulum strategy. If he's not, then these are not staying, obviously, in the deck. But like I said, I don't know if there's a way for you to even play a deck that's not a Pendulum deck. Then we have Archfiend Eccentric. It's a way for us to get Archfiend, so we have some extra deck plays, but also just be a decent card, because on the Pendulum scale it can pop itself and pop a spell trap, or on the field you can tribute it to also pop a monster on the field. It's relatively flexible in that way, so it's nice to have. Unfortunately, Pendulum scales do not count as continuous spells. I had to check that, but that would have been really nice for True Draco, but unfortunately they don't. Then we get to our hand trap package, and this is what we're gonna be talking about in the future basically every time. But for this time, at the first time I'm playing a card, I will cover them. Obviously we've talked about Ash Blossom last time, we've seen Ghost Ogre, but I'll still go out there now since it's the first time that we're now including them with this. Once again, like Ash Blossom, hand trap negates basically cards moving from the deck to most other zones. Obviously, if you're setting a card from the deck, for example, or activating a spell from the deck, it doesn't negate that. Before all intents and purposes, we'll just call Ash Blossom to negate a card being moved from the deck to another place. And then Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit, since we're in a Pendulum set, I decided to go for Ghost Ogre. And when a monster on the field activates its effect, or when a spell trap that is already face up on the field activates its effect, so this mode works for Pendulums, you can send this card from your hand or field to the grave to destroy the card on the field. Important also to note that Ash Blossom is only this card, but Ghost Ogre you can also send from your field. Not usually gonna come up, but it could, so basically, this is there to stop stuff that's already on the field, and this is to stop Jeexx from adding cards from his deck to his hand. But I won't cover these effects every time, because they almost all hand traps I feel like are very universal known. But if there are ever times when it's the first time I'm playing a hand trap, I'll talk about it then. MST we've seen plenty of times. One can pop scales if no need for anything else. If we need to pop back row, also nice for that. Triple terraforming to have access to Draconic Diagram as much as possible. And finally, from the set we have Unwavering Bond, which is a counter trap that negates the activation of a Pendulum monster effect or a card in the Pendulum zone and banishes the card. The banishing is obviously huge because we're still in Master Roll 3, which means everything always, every time, unless it's negated when coming from the hand, like it's always goes back to the extra deck and then can be reused. Very powerful trap card, assuming that once again Jeexx is playing Pendulum stuff. Then everything else here, except for, I think, Majesty Maiden we've seen before. I'm not sure if I played Heat, but we obviously know Masterpiece. Masterpiece take 2 tributes, can tribute continuous traps and spells as well as monsters, becomes immune to the card types that use for a tribute summon, and can then banish stuff from your grave to pop cards on the field. Then Dynamite Knight, Ignis Heat, and Majesty Maiden are all essentially the same. They just do different things where all of them can be attributed. Once again, tribute summoned by attributing a continuous spell or trap you control. And then once per turn where your opponent activates a card, or any card or effect, Dynamite Knight, if it's on the field, can activate or add to your hand a True Draco or True King continuous trap. Ignis Heat does the same for spells, and Majesty Maiden does the same for monsters. And obviously it doesn't activate or summon them, it just adds them to your hand. Obviously for disruption, like traps are what actually does something on your opponent's turn, and Dynamite is also the biggest, so that's why we're running 3 copies of Dynamite and 2 of the other 2. True Draco Heritage, Disciples, Draconic Diagram, True King's Return, True Draco Apocalypse we've all seen before. These are here to work as tributes or to have their other effects. When the spells leave the field, they pop spell traps. When the traps leave the field, they pop monsters. In addition to their other effects, Draconic Diagram is there to help us add stuff from our deck to our hand, and we can use like maybe the extra like Zombie Sisters, or maybe a MST that we don't need or something. Anything basically that we have in our hand, we can just use to pop with this. Unfortunately, these only the pop effects happen on field, so if you destroy them in your hand with Diagram, you don't get to activate their secondary pop effects, but still pretty decent. For the side, stuff that we haven't covered already, we have Luster Pendulum with Draco Slayer if we want to lean in more on the actual Pendulum strategy, and also go more into our extra deck. Luster Pendulum is there as a level 4 tuner. Then we have triple Draco face-off, reveal a Draco Slayer, Pendulum Monster, and Draco Overlord Pendulum Monster from your deck. Your opponent picks one of them for you to place in your Pendulum Zone, or Special Summon. You get the pick, and you add the other card to your extra deck face up. This is if we want to go like super heavy on the Draco Overlord stuff, but this, honestly, I don't think I could see a world where I would want to go for this card, really. Pendulum Zone destroys as many cards in the Pendulum Zone as possible, then you can destroy one spell trap your own opponent controls. More pendulum hate there, but I think there's already plenty after we side in like vector pendulums, but this is something that if he's like not playing any back row and we don't need MSTs, then maybe I can side the pendulum stones instead of the MSTs in. Then we just finally, because I couldn't decide what to add for the last 2 slots, I just decided to also bump the final like continuous spell trap that True Draco has access to. Apocalypse, decided to bump it up to 3 if we need it there. As with the extra deck, this is not something that we'll probably go into, but in case it comes up, I think the only thing that might come up is like game 1 with something like Lecter and Master, maybe something like Magister Paladin, but the thing is that we don't really want to be summoning these, so it's the only thing. Master Key Beetle, I don't even know what this thing does. You can do this one Xyz material, then target a card you control, except this card. While this card is face up, that card cannot be destroyed by card effect. If this face up card doesn't feel up will be destroyed, you can send one of its targets to graveyard instead. Okay, protects other stuff and itself, but okay. Yeah, we're not summoning this thing. Magister's Paladin, we've seen this before. Once again, like probably not gonna come up. Dynasty Power might come up because it's summoned by attributing the above cards. So if we have once again like have let's say Eccentric on the board with maybe one of these, like okay, then Dinoster might come up, and what it can do is it protects your Pendulum monsters and cards in your Pendulum zones by being destroyed, as long as it's on the board, and once per day you can spell summon Draco Slayer Pendulum monster from your hand or graveyard, but it cannot be used as fusion materials. Once again, like probably like the only Draco Slayer card that we have is Master Pendulum. We don't really care about special summoning that, so yeah, unless we actually it's only for Pendulum monster. You can't even summon Ignista with, so yeah, not really gonna come up. We've seen Scarlight a million times. It just pops your opponent board. Scrap Archfiend is a vanilla that you can make with one of the Ghost Sisters and a level 4. Probably not gonna come up, but it's there if it does. Ignista Providence, you can target a Pendulum monster on the field or one card in the Pendulum Zone, pop it and shuffle one card on the field to the deck. Obviously, if Jeexx on a Pendulum strategy, this means we can basically use his Pendulum cards to pop, and then shuffle something that he also has to the deck. This is really good against Pendulum strategies as well. And then can special summon Draco Slayer monster from your deck in defense mode, but cannot be used as material for a synchro. So these are able to fuel each other. And then finally we have Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend here. What was my idea in going into this? It was... Oh yeah, it was... I now remember. If I have a level 4 in the board and then like both of the like Ghost Sisters, for example, they can go into Tyrant Red Dragon Archfiend. Never gonna happen, but it would be really funny. Anyways, must be a synchro summon during AFF runs. You can nuke the entire field. And for the rest of the other monsters you control cannot attack. And during the battle phase, when a spell trap card is activated, you can as a quick effect negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. And if you do, this card gains 500 attack. Not really relevant, it's just a field nuke, which most likely we will not summon. Like I said, like I think it's very unlikely for us to go into our extra deck, but it's there because, you know, why wouldn't you just have 15 cards that you have access to there just in case they come up. But yeah, that covers our deck. I'm actually relatively excited about this because, like, it's not super heavy on the Pendulum stuff. Obviously, I don't really care for the Pendulum stuff, but like I said, like, I found, like, True Draco relatively interesting last time. Obviously, the power level is going to be way down without the Zoo stuff, but, like, maybe the, like, our deck is definitely a lot slower, but maybe with the, like, all the Pendulum hate that we have, if Jeexx is on a Pendulum strategy, which is what I'm expecting, we can slow him down and do some stuff with Masterpiece, hopefully. That's the plan, at least. But we will see. Thank you for listening to my deck breakdown. Hopefully you enjoy Jeexx as well. And afterwards, I will see y'all in the Battle Zone. Dueling Zone. Battle Zone. I say Battle Zone in the Pokemon series and Dueling Zone in this one. I will see y'all in the Dueling Zone.
Okay, so this week we're doing Pendulum Evolution. Yet again, one of those things where I'm kind of yapping about how Konami fumbled something. In this case, it was Pendulum Evolution. Originally was a structure deck that was released in Japan. It was a pretty good structure deck. It had Astrograph in it. It had everything else in it. It was just a really solid package that you could buy 3 of to get a card that is still limited in 2025 because this card is still really fucking strong. So, this time we've also introduced the new rule of you are able to put 6 hand traps total in your deck, two unique ones, and up to 3 copies of each. So, we have Ghost Ogre. I'm playing Ghost Ogre because we have a lot of pendulums in this. I'm using it mostly just to check the pendulum cards or any kind of continuous spells that might be popping up because I can pop those, or the field spell to negate the effects by killing them. Astrograph has the effect of, it's first off level 7, pretty good. Scales, 1/1, pretty good. Spellcaster Pendulum, yeah, that's pretty good. It's a dark 2, so there's a lot of cards in this deck that like can really do shit with that, like this thing. It has the effect, the pendulum effect, that during your main phase, you can destroy this card. And if you do, take 1 Stargazer Magician from your hand or deck and either place it in your pendulum zone or special summon it. You can only use this effect of Astrograph Sorcerer once per turn. If a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can choose 1 monster in the graveyard, extra deck, or that is banished, and that was destroyed this turn, and add 1 monster with the same name from your deck to your hand. You can banish this card you control, plus 4 monsters from your hand, field, and or graveyard, 1 each with Pendulum Dragon, XYZ Dragon, Synchro Dragon, and Fusion Dragon in their name, and a special summon 1 Supreme King Zark from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon. This card is the thing that we're going to be playing, essentially. We're going to be turboing out some Pendulum Magicians to turbo out Zark. That's the goal. That's like the actual end goal of this deck, but obviously we're going to be doing a lot of other stuff in the meantime. We're going to be playing Time Stars, we're going to be playing rank 7s, rank 6s, we're going to be playing Synchros, we're going to be doing everything. The whole works. So, we have Black Fang Magician. First off, once per turn you can target 1 face monster with controls, happy to attack and destroy this card, and then it's treated as an XYZ Dragon. This card is always treated as an XYZ Dragon. So, yeah, this card has XYZ Dragon in its name, meaning that its name is essentially Black Fang Magician XYZ Dragon. Just like Summon Skull is an Archfiend, or just like how Cyber Dragon card, there's like Cyber Harpy Lady. Cyber Harpy Lady is in fact is treated as a Harpy Lady, for example. Like obviously, it's, you know, yeah. And technically, Umi cards are treated as Umi, so if you have an Umi in the set, you get access to all the cards that are Umi. You know, we've spoken about this before. But yeah. Black Fang also has the effect of when it's destroyed, a battle or card effect, you can target a spellcaster monster, dark spellcaster monster in graveyard and special summon it, meaning you can get any of these cards back out, essentially. Chronograph has the same effect as Astrograph for the Pendulum effect, except for Time Gazer, and has a different effect for the Destruction, where it can special summon itself from your hand, and you can special summon a monster from your hand, and has the same fusion effect. Double Iris, you can target a dark spellcaster monster you control and apply the effect of once applied, you can double any battle damage that monster inflicts to your opponent this turn if it battles an opponent's monster. And then you destroy this card, obviously. And it's treated as a Pendulum Dragon, so it's a Double Iris Pendulum Dragon. Double Iris Magician Pendulum Dragon. If this card is destroyed by battle card effect, you can add a Pendulum Graph card from your deck to your hand. Noticeably not a hard once per turn. Noticeably not a hard once per turn here either. Then we have Harmonizing Magician. Pendulum effect is relevant. Actual effect is going to be spell summon from your extra deck. Cannot be used as material for a fusion or synchro or XYZ summon unless all other materials are Magician Pendulum monsters. When this card is Pendulum summoned from the hand, you can spell summon one Magician Pendulum monster from your deck in defense position and negate its effects, and also banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect of Harmonizing Magician once per turn. Idea is you make a Harmonizing Magician. You make a Time Star Magician using Harmonizing Magician, another Magician card, and then detach the card and it goes to the graveyard. You summon out like White Wing, and then you now have a material for Zark. Luster Pendulum, we talk about this every time we spin the set. Wolf Dragon, if you have Magician, you can add a Odd Eyes Pendulum or Magician card from your extra deck face up to your hand. And if it's a normal spell summon, you can target a Pendulum, Magician Pendulum monster and Odd Eyes monster in graveyard and add it to your hand. Pendulum Sorcerer, we have one of these in here because I think this card is just really good. We've talked about this before. It pops 2 cards on a special summon, and you add 2 different Perform Impel cards to your hand. In this case, we're only adding 1, as in Skull Acrobat, so we're not destroying 2 cards. We're destroying 1 card usually. And that's still fairly beneficial to us because of stuff like Double Iris, Black Fang, and Purple Poison Magician all triggering off of that. Skull Acrobat, we talk about this too. It's a normal summon, so sure. Purple Poison gives 1.2000 attack to Dark Spellcaster monster during battle and destroys itself. And then if it's destroyed, you can target one face-up card on the field and destroy it. Timebreaker Magician, it's here to mostly just facilitate synchro plays. And it has the effect of when it's Pendulum Summon from your hand and no other cards are Pendulum Summon at the same time, you can make this card stack become double its original attack. And once per turn, you can target one monster on the field and banish both it and this card from your field until your next standby phase. White Wing Magician, this does nothing. This is irrelevant. Doesn't do anything. It's sent to the graveyard whenever I can, essentially. Wisdom Eye can replace itself with another Pendulum Magician from the deck, and its main monster effect is irrelevant here. Duelist Alliance, another searcher. If you have a Pendulum card in your Pendulum Zone, Allies Fusion fuses a dragon monster using your using materials, and can use extra deck materials if you have Allies cards from your extra deck as materials if your opponent controls 4 more monsters and you control no monsters. So for example, Allies Fusion can be used to summon a Vortex by using Vortex and another Pendulum monster, or a Meteor Burst and another Pendulum monster. Yeah. And then we have Pendulum Call. We've talked about this too. Discard 1, add 2 Magicians. Star Pendulum Graph, another new card. Your opponent can target spellcaster monsters your opponent can target spellcaster monsters you control with spell cards or effects. If a face of Magician Pendulum monster card leaves your monster zone or pendulum zone, add 1 Magician Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. Hard once per turn. Time Pendulum Graph. Your opponent can target spellcaster monsters you control with traps or effects. You can only use the following effect, Time Pendulum Graph, once per turn. You can target 1 Magician Pendulum monster card in your monster zone or pendulum zone, and 1 card your opponent controls and destroy them. And if this effect did not destroy 2 cards, you can send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. So essentially, you target 1 card your pendulum zone, 1 card your opponent controls, you destroy both, you trigger your effects off of the card that got destroyed, or you use Time Star Magician's replacement effect to not destroy, and then you get to send another card. Now, the reason why that would work is because Time Star Magician's replacement effect specifically replaces the destruction at the moment of the destruction. It's not an effect that gets chained or triggered, or well, it's an effect that gets triggered, but it's a replacement effect rather than an activated effect. So it triggers, and you can just do it. Replacement effects are something that are going to be becoming more common. So we'll talk about these more in the future, I think. But yeah, then we have Droll and Lockbird, or for specifically dealing with like this deck, or even arguably Zoo to a degree. Tuning Magician, one of these, just in case I need a level 1 tuner, then I want to spell someone out. Harmonizing Magician, a 3rd copy, another copy of Sorcerer, another copy of Purple Poison, another copy of Stargazer and Time Gazer, just in case I want to play those. A copy of Supreme King Zark. This should not be here, I think. I think it was like this. The reason why this is like that is because we played a extra game after this, and I had already decided these cards down. My bad. Then we have Supreme Green Zark, another copy. A copy of Miracle Synchro Fusion in case I don't have access to Astrograph for material like summoning. More copies of Odd Eyes Fusion, another copy of Pendulum Graph. Then we have Mighty Draco Slayer, allows you to summon out a Draco Slayer from your graveyard or hand. Kind of use fusion material. Vortex, obviously, I think Vortex is probably the best card we could be playing from the Odd Eyes package in this. Starving Venom, which is starving on a Fusion Dragon, has Fusion Dragon in its name. The reason why we have access to it is because of the fact that we have in our deck a Fusion Dragon monster in the form of Purple Poison Magician Fusion Dragon. So, and then we have Clearwing Synchro Dragon, because we have a Synchro Dragon in here, and then we have Ignister, Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer, which obviously we have access to because we have Master Pendulum in here. We have Meteor Burst for filler, and we have Dog Rebellion for filler. We have Monkey Magician Gal here, because it's a Spellcaster monster, or a rank 6 Spellcaster requiring monster that has the effect of you can attach a material and banish one card from your hand, and then activate one of these effects. You target one of your opponent's monsters, and you take control of it, or target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, and you spell summon to your side of the field. This card can be really good. This card can just fucking do a lot of shit, I think. Absolute for one copy of that, so that I can use it to summon out Vortex, for example, cheat out Vortex, or summon it out using Vortex, and then re-summoning Vortex, and then cheating out on the copy of Vortex later on. 3 copies of Time Star Magician must be XYZ summoned with the above materials. Once per turn, you can attach one material and add to your hand one Dark Spellcaster monster from your deck, graveyard, or face it from your extra deck. And once per turn, if a Pendulum monster card in your monster zone or Pendulum zone will be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can send one Spellcaster monster from your deck to the graveyard instead. And that's it. That's the deck. This deck is really good. It's really solid. I'm really excited to showcase what this deck does to you guys. I don't think I'm going to be playing it very well, obviously, but it's still a fun time overall. Good luck with the games.
What is up, ladies and lads, and welcome back to the History QKO learning journey. As you saw from the intro, if you skipped over, that's perfectly fine as well. Hand traps are now fair game, as we've talked about extensively at this point, and for the penultimate time, we're still suffering in Master Rule 3 under the terror that is Pendulum monsters, and if I've heard anything of what I'm up against today, cooked by the hive mind, this is gonna be like Hydrogen Bomb versus Coffin Baby.
We're thriving. Also, the hive mind also only reminded me of the existence of certain things. Oh, this. How does this even play out? This is like the. Wait, what the fuck? How do I play this shit? Oh, actually, yeah, I did that. I'm gonna double check.
I can't wait for this. How do I play this shit hand to turn into 7 Zarks and fucking Jesus
I shall
Christ.
start off by activating Master Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, in my left zone.
You can target a card. Yeah, that is fine.
I would like to activate Duelist Alliance.
Every time, you're free to go for it.
I would like to add to my hand a card that has Pendulum in its name or a Pendulum Spell Trap card for my deck. I would like to...
So basically just a Pendulum card.
Just Pendulum... No. It's either a Pendulum monster or a Pendulum Spell Trap. So I cannot add Pendulum Machine.
Okay.
Just wanting to be clear on that, okay? Very important note. I would like to add a... This is kind of tough, actually, because I can do a lot of shit here, which would be pretty okay, because I can do this, I can set that up, I can add that, which I can then use for bullshit, right? I would like to add a Pendulum Call. I would like to activate the Pendulum Call to first discard a card. I would like to discard my Chronograph Sorcerer. Can I add 2 Pendulum monsters? I did Magician Pendulum monsters with different names from my deck to my hand.
Yes, as you can probably gather, I do not have Ash in my hand, or I would have probably stopped the Duelist Alliance.
That is unfortunate. Let us start off by searching for a double Iris Magician and a Harmonizing Magician. Then I would like to declare that I'm activating double Iris Magician on my right scale. Declare Pendulum Summon.
So 3 and 8. I mean, this can be anything from this world. Yeah, that is fine.
I would like to summon Harmonizing Magician and Black Fang Magician in attack position. Then I would like to activate the effect of Harmonizing Magician. When it hits the board, when it's Pendulum Summon from my hand, I can special summon a Magician Pendulum monster from my deck in a defense position. But I negate its effects and banish it when it leaves the field.
Yep, hard ones and this. Okay, yeah, that's fine.
No ghost sword.
As we've established, I do not have Ash. At the very least, like, I probably would have started the Pendulum Call if I'm not stuck in Duelist Alliance, which is essentially a 1 for 3 at that. Actually, like, technically 1 for 4, because you don't get the 2 magicians you need to discard, and you lose the Pendulum Call. So it would be a pretty good Ash.
To special summon out a
And basically here, like, the bros
poison
are fucking
magician.
oyster.
in defense position. Then I would like to XYZ summon using Harmonizing Magician and my Purple Poison Magician to summon out Time Star Magician in attack position. Which says that I can protect a spellcaster monster or a monster, pendulum monster in my monster zone, or a pendulum zone card from being destroyed by battle card effect once per turn by sending a spellcaster monster from my deck to the graveyard instead.
Gotcha. Soft ones.
And then I would like to activate the effect of Double Iris Magician, targeting my Dark Spellcaster monster, Black Fang in this case. And I would like to destroy my Double Iris Magician to double its battle damage involving monsters. Basically, I'm popping it to search for a card.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
I'm popping it. This thing now deals double the battle damage if it battles monsters.
This turn?
This turn, yes.
Very relevant?
This turn specifically. Very relevant.
Might
Oh,
come
actually,
up.
double checking. Double checking. This turn, yes, this turn. Yeah. You can add Pendulum Graph to your hand. I would like to add to my hand a Pendulum Graph card from my deck. I would like to add a Pendulum Pendulum Graph, which says your opponent cannot target spellcast monsters from your you control traps or effects. You can only use the following effect of Pendulum Graph once per turn. I can target a Magician Pendulum monster card in my monster zone or my Pendulum zone, and one card my opponent controls. Destroy them, and if this did not destroy 2 cards, I can send 1 card on the field to the graveyard. That means that if my card doesn't get destroyed, but yours does, I can send 1 card from your side of the field to the graveyard, non-targeting, and a bunch of other bullshit. But yeah. Then, actually, instead of Purple Poison, do you mind if I summon another card? Because I just realized I'm...
Go for it, man.
I'll just summon out this thing, because it was kind of lost.
So in which graph was it that you added?
Pendulum Graph.
Pendulum, gotcha.
Yeah. I'm just going to change this. I'm going to detach White Wing Magician now from Time Star Magician to activate the effect of add to my hand a Dark Spellcaster monster from my deck, graveyard, or face up from the extra deck. Is this okay?
That is okay.
Okay. I would like to add to my hand a...
Being
We'll check
detached
out.
from
Dark
as an
Spellcaster.
Xyz doesn't count as like leaving the field,
No.
right?
No, it does not count as leaving the field, and it
Yeah.
does not count as... when you become an XYZ material, you cease to exist, and then when you get sent to the graveyard, you exist again.
Yeah. Cause I remember that was something that I was wondering for a long time, which is like the difference between like detaching an Xyz material to like being like if this is sent from the field versus if this is sent to the graveyard.
Okay, and then I would like to pass my turn.
So
I added an Astrograph Sorcerer.
Yeah,
just to
so
be
I
clear.
know Pendulum Graph and Astrograph. I know the cards in your hand, so no Ash, but
Do you know my cards?
I know Pendulum Graph and Astrograph
Pendulum Graph
because you added both.
is a continuous trap that is currently on my field.
Oh yeah, the Pendulum. I thought it was Pendulum Graph Sorcerer. I guess that thing doesn't exist. So wait, was it Star Pendulum Graph or Time Pendulum Graph?
Time Pendulum.
Time, okay.
I keep
Nice.
forgetting that it's Time and Star because it's Astro and Time. Or Chrono. Astro and Chrono.
Yeah, okay. Let me remind myself. So this was just protects your stuff with trap effects, and then a Magician Pendulum, and then yeah. Okay. I will start my turn.
Okay.
Draw, standby. Well, not what I wanna see, I will not lie. I think, I mean, you can get more of that, but it's still too scary. So I will MST the back row. I'm assuming it's the Pendulum Graph.
I would like to activate in response to Pendulum Graph. But just a second. I can target that. I can target that. I can pop that. This is only once per turn. Just to double check. Yes, that is only once per turn. This has to be just a card. Okay, that is fine. Then I
Would
think
you like to use the effect?
Was it in the graveyard? Wait, what? Wait. Hey, she is why? What the hell? That is okay.
All right. Now, what are the chances that the last card in your hand is a Ash? I mean, you wouldn't Ash this anyway, but I would like the terraforming.
Yep, that's okay.
And I will
Ash at terraforming.
Dragonic diagram, to the surprise of absolutely no one.
Yep.
Then, this doesn't have, no. And then this is the okay. I don't love it. But I would like to activate said Dragonic diagram.
Yep.
And I would like to attempt to use the effect by destroying
like
Unwavering Bond in my hand.
You don't destroy the card.
Is it not the cost?
It's not a cost. Once per turn, you declare you're activating it, and then you can destroy one
wait,
card.
semicolon was cost, and okay, yeah, okay.
Correct, yeah. I would like to chain to this Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit the activation, destroying the Dragonic diagram.
All right, so diagram gets popped, but I do still get
because it's no longer.
Wait.
Nope. Continuous spells and field spells do not resolve their effects if they leave the field. They need to stay on the board to resolve.
Gotcha.
That's like continuous traps, continuous spells, and field spells are the kinds of cards that counterintuitively get negated by spell trap removal, which is the worst thing I think about like how the game essentially works.
Gotcha. I'll just pop Time Star with Eccentric.
I mean, that is fine. Yep, that is okay. It gets popped, and I would like to, on the destruction of that, special summon from my deck, from my hand, an Astrograph Source.
I would like to summon something out.
The fact that you destroyed a card. Yeah. That would allow me to summon out Astrograph as a trigger for if you.
Oh yeah, it's the hand of yeah. Okay, okay.
Just thinking.
Go for it.
Because if I do that, what does that actually give me? It doesn't give me this. It doesn't give me that. It doesn't give me that. No, that's fine. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Doesn't change it.
Okay. Then I will set a couple of cards. One of them could be anything, and I will pass the turn.
Alrighty then. I would like to activate the effect of Master Pendulum. While it is in my Pendulum zone, I can target a Pendulum card in a Pendulum zone and destroy it.
Yep, that is okay.
Would like to destroy Master Pendulum of the Draco Slayer, which is supposed to go to the extra.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think it goes
to the extra. And I would like to then, in response to Master Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, being destroyed, activate the effect of Astrograph Sorcerer. To special summon Astrograph Sorcerer and return to my hand, or add to my hand, a card that has the same name as a card that was destroyed from my deck, graveyard, or banish, or extra deck. Sorry. Sorry. No. That's not the way around. That's unfortunate.
I mean, when you're activating a Pendulum Monsters effect, I would like to chain Unwavering Bond.
Yeah, I don't have another one anymore.
Astrograph.
Oh,
and banish it.
And then I would like to normal summon Harmonizing Magician. I would like to
This
overlay.
was only okay.
I would
Yep,
like
nothing on summon.
Overlay. Black Man Magician to special summon. Time Star Magician.
Número dos.
Would like to detach Black Fang Magician to add to my hand.
And it's fine.
A card. I would like to add a Dark Spellcaster Monster.
Deck graveyard
No.
or face back. Sure.
Oh, this thing's an Earth. I didn't realize. Oh.
It's not all just darks. Oh, I guess also a white woman
No.
magician is wind.
It's because they're based off of the cards that they're like their attributes are based off the cards that they're based off of themselves. So for example, White Wind is based off of Clearwing. So it's wind.
The white
But I have
woman
a-
magician based off a really white
Yeah.
card that's also on a white background because it's a synchro. Now I'm
what are you
Maro.
implying, good sir? Well, what are you implying, good sir?
I'm not implying anything. The card is called White Woman Magician.
I see. I see. My least favorite part about Dueling Book is that I can't scroll the text on cards without like
Yeah.
having to get to the left.
The,
And sometimes it's like
the issue
need
with having a lot of stuff is like, all right, now I'm trying to navigate my cursor in like one of those fucking 2000 Flash games. Don't touch any other cards so I can scroll on the left.
yeah. I'm gonna double check something.
Yeah.
1, 2.
I'll be honest, I like completely didn't even realize that the Astrograph also had the like clause where you can just use it to directly fusion summon Zark.
That's why I'm playing it. And same with Chronograph. They both have the effect to just allow you to summon it out. And
Yeah.
specifically, it uses only Pendulum Dragon, XYZ Dragon, Synchro Dragon, and Fusion Dragon cards, not cards that are synchros
Yeah.
that are dragons and so on.
So that's
Which is
why
like the thing that I-
Poison's magician and stuff like that is relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Like for example, Double Fang is treated as an XYZ Dragon.
Yeah, and everything.
Same with Double Iris.
Yeah, and the only thing that needs to be on board is Astrograph, huh?
Correct.
That's pretty
Astrograph or
good.
Chronograph. That is kind of nice.
I'm still
nice.
assuming that the first part is why it's limited, but who knows?
Which one? You mean the part where you can add literally anything that was
Yeah,
destroyed? back?
exactly.
This thing is like I would say like one of the strongest, if not the strongest, pendulum card that you could have in your. It's a
I mean,
level
it's up
7,
there with like
summons itself, infinite recursion. It's not once per turn, at all.
yeah, it's like a juice up version of like Luster Pendulum.
Yeah, exactly.
But, like,
Luster Pendulum
in
needs to actually
kind of
like hit the pendulum zone and everything. So it's like, bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, and I don't think it can add itself, so you can't like pop Luster Pendulum to add another Luster Pendulum to have them in circulation. So.
No, you can.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, of
Okay.
course you
I
can.
thought
Yeah, you
it
just
was pop a card in your pendulum skill and add a card with the same name except Luster.
Oh
Maybe
no
I'm
no
just-
no! It's once per turn. If you have a card in your other pendulum zone, you can destroy that card.
Oh yeah.
So, you can't destroy itself.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
just
So
need to
it
destroy
can.
another.
You just need another Luster to add. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just
That's why
I
it's-
just remember that. Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
I had the right idea, but a convoluted way to get there. What sort of trickery are you up to? Okay, so what do you have? You have Xyz Dragon, and you have
I acted a pendulum call.
Synchro Dragon.
I acted a pendulum call, and Double Iris has to be destroyed to be activated for its effect to activate. And pendulum call specifically says you can't destroy pendulum magicians in your pendulum zones. This was a thing that I fucked up while I was playtesting it as well. Like every time I was like, okay, I'm just gonna act the double iris here. I'm gonna add a time pendulum graph here, but
I see.
yeah, it would have just stayed in there essentially. This would be a different situation.
But
Then,
can
but
this? Okay, thank
could
God.
just pop
I was gonna say
double
like
iris.
if Astro can also banish stuff from face up in your extra deck to summon Zark, like, but okay, it can't. So we're halfway there when it comes to Grave.
Wait. Yeah. You are correct. I'm currently mostly just trying to figure out if there is a line where I can actually like get stuff out.
Yeah, don't worry. I think
I'll
you'll
just
have
add
a
this
few
guy.
more. I
just
think
add
you'll have
this
a few.
guy.
Yeah, I'll think you'll have a
Then attack with this
few
thing.
more turns to on. Actually, no. Yeah, I'll take 24.
And then I'll pass. Sorry, I'm stalling and I'm also yapping.
Yeah, it's perfectly
But,
fine.
like,
No worries.
I think this is like this deck is something that I didn't play myself at the time because
Mm-hmm.
this was a deck that everybody wanted to play. And Cloudy originally wanted to play this deck, but then this turned out into a set. Like if this was just 3 structure decks, I would have bought this in a heartbeat. Because this deck is like it's cool. It's like the most interesting variation of this specific kind of pendulum strategy taken to its utmost limit. But it's also like actually capable of doing things other than I'm just gonna spam out 5 and do an XYZ play. I'm gonna spam out 16 and fucking do whatever. You can do that and it's really effective, but you can also play slow control strategies with this deck. And I think that's so cool.
But
That's so sick.
it's not a Fate archetype, so why would you play a Pendulum archetype that's not a Fate archetype?
True. That is real. That is real. You're so right.
The normal
Skull
summon of Skull Crobat Joker.
Is this okay?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. I would like to add into my hand a Performer Pal or a Magician Pendulum Monster. I would like to add
A Performer Pal, Monkey Board.
Performer Pal Monkey. Dude, I should have probably played Pepe in this as well. Like that's another thing. I could have just fucking fit Pepe in here, and that would have been perfectly fine. Like
The
nothing
Pepe
bad would
Magician.
happen. Like holy shit. It's insane.
The PP, you could have called it the PP Magician.
The PP Magician. You are
PP
so right,
Poo-Poo
Umfi.
Magician deck.
Anywho, I would like
Destinies.
to add a purple poison magician to my hand. I would like to activate purple poison magician in my left scale.
If a dark
And
black
black hand.
super, you can activate the monsters. Oh, great heavens!
Great heavens. Yeah, is this okay?
That is fine. Yeah, both scales are fine. It's 8 and a
I would
blend,
like
which
to-
is a scary thing, but
Activate Time Star Magician
Uh-huh.
to detach a material to add to my hand a dark spellcaster monster
and declare a pendulum summon.
and declare Pendulum Summon. Summoning out Double Iris Magician and Master Pendulum, the Draco Slayer.
Yep.
And then double checking. Wait, how does this work again? I can use this, but that doesn't work now that I think about it. Actually, oh, that's interesting. So I'm thinking, Purple Poison is always treated as Fusion Dragon card as long as it's a monster. But currently it's not a monster, so it's not treated as a Fusion Dragon card, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not treated as a monster to begin with. So, but like that's like, wait, that can't be right. Wait, am I flipping? It's like it's treated as a Fusion Dragon card in rules. Like the rules text say that it's a Fusion Dragon card.
Are you wondering for the Zark summon for Astrograph?
Well, partially for that, but like it's not a monster, so it wouldn't work for that.
Yeah. I was
But
gonna say
I'm
like I
specifically
think
like
for
wondering
that,
if
that's
it's
specified
like
monsters.
like is it even is it possible at all? Probably not. Probably.
This is once again like one of those cases where if they just added this card is always treated as a Fusion Dragon card except on the in the Pendulum Zone, and that would
Yeah.
have solved things. But I guess like I don't. But obviously, like for other stuff, I don't know what you're wondering. But for Astrograph, at least Astrograph says that you can banish this card plus 4 monsters you control. So at least
It's
that
like
clears
at
that
least
out.
clear. Like it's not saying like Pendulum or something.
Yeah,
or
but
the-
it's still another
yeah.
those cases where it's like we could have had a line of text here. Because it is like how putting something on a this is always treated as this thing when it's one of those cards that actually it is in fact not always treated as one of those, because in the pendulum
Yeah.
scale this module of the card is not active, which means that the always treated as something doesn't apply.
Yeah, it's kind of odd. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
Anywho, I'm going to activate the effect of Purple Poison Magician, targeting my Time Star. Time Star Magician to destroy this card in the Pendulum scale, and give it 1,200 attack. Is this okay?
Yeah, I mean, it's you're activating it when it battles before damage calculation, so
Oh, am I?
it's not in main one.
Oh, that's. Then I would have to use this for that. I mean, that doesn't matter, yes, because I can just go into combat here.
Mm-hmm.
I can swing with double iris.
I will take
And
15
I would like
hand
to.
up. Or
I would
would
like
you
to
like
activate
to
Purple
this?
Poison Magician here.
Yep.
And before you do anything, I would like to activate the effect of Time Star. Well, not activate the effect of Time Star Magician. I would like to replace the Destruction effect with the sending of one spellcaster type monster from my deck to the graveyard.
Yep.
Alright, is that okay?
Is yeah, that's fine.
This is not like an effect activation or anything. So
Yep.
It's like this is the worst thing that they have ever made for Yu-Gi-Oh, in my opinion, which is this kind of effect will eventually become an actual effect where it can negate things or change the outcome of things.
Replacement effects in
like-
general are so confusing a lot of the
Yeah,
time.
they're degenerate beyond belief. I legitimately think these are like some of the
Yeah.
worst things that they've
Did
done.
you? But since you activated there and double iris was the one battling, so I'm assuming you boosted that because obviously it's the
Yes.
power damage calculus. So yeah,
Yes.
extra 1200 there.
1.8
Yep.
and then 1.950.
Yep.
I was kind of hoping for something to hit the board so that I could. Man.
Like I said, this is Hydrogen Bomb versus Coffin Baby, so don't get your hopes too high up, is what I would say.
Despair.
And
I think I'll just keep what I have right now, in all honesty.
that is fair enough. I really didn't get to like the module stuff that I was trying to get to, but that's fine. We'll go with this and we'll see if we can do something here.
All right then, ladies and gentlemen.
Dude, what are these hands, man? Well, I will once again set 2 and I will pass.
Are you fucking kidding?
This actually, I didn't do many test hands, but like this, if there was one thing that this deck felt like in testing, it was really consistent. But now I'm just drawing like dog water.
Discarding Black Fang? Would you like
At
me to
least
turn
this
them
time I
off?
do have dash for this.
Okay, that is okay then. I would like to set 1. I would like to normal summon perform Pal Pendulum Sorcerer, and I would like to attack for 1,500.
I will take the 15 hundo
I would like to then go and face and pass.
and face all lemons to the back row.
In Christ.
You've got to be fucking kidding me, man. This is actually unreal. Like, I'm not joking. This is unreal.
Do you mind if I check something about my deck real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
I don't think the reshuffling matters here, and I don't think anything matters here, I'll be honest.
Unfortunate.
Dude, this is insane, actually. Yeah, you can go.
No fucking way. Swing for 1.5.
Take the 1500.
Pass.
Oh, I mean, it's really fucking funny, but I think I'd rather just do this. I mean, I'll normal summon eccentric in order to pop your fucking 1500 beater.
Okay. When this gets popped, may I summon?
Oh, I should have done this way. Yeah, the summon is fine.
Okay.
Because
I cannot. I'm gonna double check, but I'm pretty sure I cannot resolve the add effect. So.
Oh.
Yeah, I cannot resolve it.
I
And it
guess
has to be a card that got destroyed this turn. So.
Oh, okay. I guess then it doesn't matter because I was gonna scale this afterwards, but then after that, there is nothing else I can do here.
Alrighty then, chat room. I would like to attack for 2.5.
Yep.
And I would like to pass.
This is insanity.
I have drawn 4 cards that are like, well, this is a card that I would like to search for, and 2 of these cards are like, this is very rarely, if ever, actually useful.
I'm popping this thing to stay alive.
Yep.
Do you have another one?
Nope.
Then I'm gonna set another in the fucking back row and pass. I'm not kidding. I don't think I could draw worse if I tried. Actually, I could. The Lecter could have been like a masterpiece.
True. I would like to set scale. And I would like to set another scale. This is okay?
I dead ass. This is so stupid. I think I'm dead ass. I'm just popping off Dragon with fucking MSD here.
Yep.
Yeah, my starting hand was just 2 MSDs, 2 Archfiend Eccentrics, and the Ash Blossom.
What the fuck, man?
This is miserable.
This is
Like I'm not finding any, cause like most of my deck is the like true Draco stuff. I have 3 Dynamite Knight. I have 2 of the one that adds traps. I have 2 spells. I have 2 of the one that adds monsters. I have a triple masterpiece. I have a total of, I want to say 12 of the continuous spells and traps, and I'm just not seeing any of them. And I think that's game.
No fucking way. This is no.
I can't summon anything. Yeah, that's game.
Whoa.
This is my hand. I literally can't summon either of these. Cool set.
That's so
And
ass.
also another one of these. What a great fucking set.
Dude.
I mean, it was Hydrogen Bomb versus Coffin Baby, but not in a way where, anything happens. But I guess at least you got to do cool stuff in game 1, but I just didn't do anything.
Bro, I didn't even get to do the coolest.
No, not the cool, but you see what I'm doing.
I got to do stuff. Yeah, I got to play the third mode of the deck essentially, where you just like slowly.
But like
use my cards to recruit kind of myself back out of.
Triple Dynamite Knight, 2 Majesty Maiden, 2 Ignis Heat, and how many continuous spells and traps do you have total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 or yeah, 10, literally I have a 10, and I didn't see. I'm dead ass. I didn't see any of these cards once during either of these games. Like, not once did I see one of these.
Do you just want to go again? Like, I legitimately think both of these decks have so much more potential than what we managed to showcase here. Because like you're playing through Draco. Like regardless of how like nerfed the through Draco is at the moment, I think
We
this
can
is
play.
legitimately
We can
like,
play a best of one.
Yeah,
If at that
like-
point I'll just do the side stuff that I did anyway, and we'll just roll with that.
I shall do the same. I shall just move this thing over here and. Come on.
This was what I did, right? 46, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was what I did. Yeah.
'Cause that was like a really sad game on the like side of us both. It was like playing Digimon game where both of us are breaking on level 5s. Shout out to the Digimon progression series. I have definitely not seen this exact scenario play out at least every episode once.
We're close to getting the memory boosts. So
Do you want to go first?
yes, I would like to go first. I don't think it matters, but it's the best chance that I have to do something.
Because like again, I got to actually do things with my deck, whereas you didn't get to do anything with your deck yet. So
Okay, well we can definitely play with this hand. So we'll just fire off a Disciples, and then I'll declare a Tribute Summon, and I think. We'll go for Dynamite Knight, and there are no targets for this, so that's all she wrote.
Okay. What does it do?
When it leaves, it does the Dynamite Knight. When you activate any card or effect, I get to add a True Draco or True King trap to activate or add it to my hand.
Okay, that's not too bad. I would like to activate on the left Oath Dragon Magician. Is this okay?
Yeah.
You get to activate this now.
Yeah, I'll
So I'm
immediately activate the effect, and we'll get. But the activation is fine, and I think
Okay. I'm just
I'll
gonna wait for you to do this.
go. It's either one of these. I'll go for a True Draco Apocalypse, and I
now?
will. I'll add it to my hand.
What
If
does that
you're
do?
OTK me, then you're OTK me. But
Let me
then
see what this does.
you're good to do what you want to do.
Oh, well, that seems pretty good. Okay. I would like to activate Duelist Alliance.
I might regret this, but I will ash it.
Okay. I would like to normal summon Skullcrab Joker.
But is fine. I have used my ash for the turn, so.
Yep. I'm just making you sure you don't have like what's it called again? Ghost Ogre?
I do.
Ghost Ogre would
I
be
do
really-
have, but I don't think I would be ogring a Joker. In some cases maybe, not here though.
Yeah, not here, but like there are instances where you could consider it as an option.
Are we both running Ash and Ghost Ogre? I guess it
No.
makes sense because Pendulum. Oh.
I'm running 3 Ogre and 3 Droll in the side.
Oh.
Because guess
I
what?
guess,
If you're
yeah.
playing this deck, against me, like you happen to be like, I'm gonna play Pendulum Magicians as well.
Yeah, that's
Droll
fair.
kills this deck.
Droll is like it's in a lot of. I feel like a Droll is like where Ash is like it's a consistent like let's say 60%. Droll is like it's either 99 or then like 30.
Yeah, exactly. Like either it essentially wins you the game because it's just turn skip pretty much for some decks. Like
Yeah,
you
that's the thing.
your opponent activates e-call. Oh, Droll. Oh, I set 2 pass. Oh, I win. Good GG's.
Yeah, because if you're playing Droll into a deck that searches like 1 or 2 times, then it doesn't like really do much, but if you're playing it into a deck like this where your usual turn is searching 17 things, then good luck playing the video game.
Exactly. Like it's really devastating to play into and play against.
I think Roll is the closest thing to Ash.
Yeah. I would like to add Harmonizing Magician using Skullcrobat. That's
That
why I added it.
harmonizing is all chill. I mean, after you add it to your hand, I would like to activate from my hand drop off.
Draw
So
and
drop
lock
that
bird.
shit, bro, bastard.
But like that's how draw works.
Yeah, that is how draw works. Because it's
Yeah.
after a card is added to the hand, right?
Correct. That is exactly how it is. I would like to activate the effect of Double Iris Magician to target my Skullcrobat Joker to make it deal double damage in this blade. I will destroy it, sending it to the extra deck. And I would like to use the effect of Double Iris Magician when it gets destroyed to add a card. And then I would like to chain on that card Astrograph Sorcerer from my hand.
That
I
is
would
okay.
like to special summon Astrograph Sorcerer. And then I would like to add to my hand a Double Iris Magician.
Yep.
And I would like to then also resolve the effect of Double Iris Magician, adding a Pendulum Grab to my hand. I would like to add a Time Pendulum Grab.
Yep.
Okay. Then I would like to activate Double Iris Magician.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like to declare a Pendulum Summon. Actually, wait. Thinking. I'm
You
going to
pop it
activate
again?
the effect of Oath Dragon Magician to add to my hand a Double Iris Magician.
Let's go. Yep.
I would like to activate the effect of Double Iris Magician targeting my Astrograph Sorcerer.
Yeah, this
to
gets you an
destroy
extra
them.
body, so I think it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't give me a body if I don't have a... Oh, actually...
I mean, you just add it, so you can just scale that, and then you can summon the double iris with that if you wanna. Obviously, you don't need to, but it gives you a line to get into an extra body.
Kinda, yeah. I was mostly thinking about something else. Sorry.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
good. I'll add a Star Pendulum Graph using Double Iris' effect. Because again, that is not once per turn.
Yep.
Nothing in this deck, for some godforsaken reason, is once per turn. I also have this card in my hand, but do I even care about it? Because I can use this for that.
I think the linker is finally when they basically start putting a once per turn on almost like a hard once per turn on almost everything. Almost.
No, my spellcaster monsters cannot be targeted by spell
cards
cards, and
or
my face-up magician potential monster cards, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then I would like to activate Double Iris Magician to pop my Double Iris Magician.
Yeah.
To then activate the effect of Star Pendulum Graph when it gets popped to add a Magician Pendulum monster from my deck to my hand.
Go for it.
And also add another will add another Time Pendulum Graph to my hand using the effect of Double Iris Magician, and I will use this opportunity to add to my honestly I could add this because this is any of them, right? Double checking. Yeah, this is any of them. We can destroy this. Yeah, I'll add Wisdom Eye. And I will play Wisdom Eye, and I'll pop Wisdom Eye to place a Magician Pendulum monster from my deck into my Pendulum Zone.
Yep.
I would like to place a you know, it would be really funny. Getting another Double Iris. Using another Double Iris to pop it and add a third copy of my Time Pendulum Graph.
But the official set is over, so now you can just do whatever.
I
World is
could
your
do
oyster.
anything. The world is my oyster. But I don't think I can target another one because both of them already have the effect. So I don't know if I could actually pump them again. I'm not 100% sure on that now that I think about it. But I do think I am going to set Black Fang Magician in my scat. And then I would like to declare Pendulum Summon.
Yep.
I would like to Pendulum Summon out Harmonizing Magician, and I would like to Pendulum Summon out a Double Iris Magician. And then I think actually, because I can use this, I think I have to do it like this, though. I would like to summon... This is a discard effect, just to check.
Yeah, because if you go one more, then you don't have space for harmonizing's target.
Yeah, and if Harmonizing gets popped here, it's kind of rough for me. But this is 6, though. This is 6. Yeah. I've normal summoned already. Whatever. I'll just summon out Double Iris Magician.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like to overlay my... Oh, actually, I summon these both in attack. Just to be safe. And then I would like to use Harmonizing and Double Iris for a Not Pendulum, sorry. A XYZ summon or Time Star Magician. Then I would like to activate the effect of Time Star Magician to detach one material and add to my hand a Dark Spellcaster monster. Now, this is important to note. If you try to pop this, I can replace the destruction, but even if you did pop this, this effect would go through. Just as a heads up. Is this okay?
Yep.
Okay. So I would like to add to my hand
2-time Pendulum Graphs and the last card in your hand. I do not know yet.
Correct. I'm gonna double check something.
Did that just say look within the opponent's action deck?
Yeah, I clicked on it, but I didn't realize you could do that. I'll be honest, but it makes sense. Yeah, I was closing this and I double.
Yeah, because obviously you can see the face-off card. It would be really funny. Imagine like in a YCS or something, you just randomly go around and shoot your opponent's action. Yo, what you got here, bro? Oh shit, you're playing Zeus? Wait, that's cash.
Oh shit, bro.
Wait, you got a ghost rare Stardust Dragon here? Damn.
Yeah. I would like to add an Astrograph to my hand. And then I would like to overlay my Double Iris Magician and my Skullcrobat Joker to summon out a Dark Rebellion Dragon, XYZ Dragon. I like to
No, but the Skullcrobat had double battle damage this turn.
It's okay. I would like to activate the effect of the Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon to have the attack of Dynamite Knight, the true Draco fighter.
Yep.
And this card will gain half its attack, so...
Go to 3750.
Yes. And then I would like to activate the effect of Black Fang Magician, targeting your Dynamite Knight to have its attack again and destroy this card in the scale.
Going to 675, I think.
Okay.
Actually, wait, no. It's 625, sorry. Math is hard.
All right. It's kind of. I will pop this card, and then I would like to chain to the destruction of this card Astrograph Sorcerer from my hand.
Yep.
And I would like to activate the effect of Astrograph Sorcerer, adding a card that has been destroyed this turn to
And that's
my
lethal,
hand.
but you probably have something you want to do here, so I'll let you do what you want to do here.
I'm trying to see if I think I'm missing at least one card here, which sucks.
I mean,
Looks like
it's whatever. You just do your stuff.
yeah.
I'll just
That's
mill stuff here so I can hover those while you talk about your combo. So at least I got to do what this deck does, which is tribute over one continuous spell and summon Dynamite Knight. So that's cool. Yeah. Anyways, this being on board doesn't matter. I just die, so I'll just mill this stuff here anyway.
The idea would have just been to then essentially use the Astrograph Sorcerer to swing you for a game, or overlay these for example, making Absolute or going from there. Like this deck is far too powerful for the era that it came from. It's like I would say that it is comparable to Zoo in power level. It's interesting to me to think that like the power level of later Pendulum era, like the part that we're currently in, is usually like immediately thought of, Zoo is like the strongest deck in like existence, right? But you consider the fact that Pepe existed for a brief weekend in the form that it was. And I would argue that Pepe at the time was stronger comparatively to the rest of the game than Zoo ended up being comparatively to everything that surrounded it. Mostly because Zoo itself came out in a time period, like the period of time where this deck came out right after, where True Draco came out alongside it, essentially. And it just like, it was still the strongest one. These decks, I think, trounced Pepe, for example. I think True Draco and Pendulum Magicians trounced Pepe, like just hands down. Even better, you can just fucking add Pepe into this, and it's a better deck than Pepe ever was.
I was gonna say, like, I think that's the big thing is just like Magician. If you're looking at like what Magician takes from your like main deck slots and compare it to Zoo, like Zoo is a lot more splashable, which is ultimately what I think is what a lot of the success comes from. Which is like you have some Rat Pierce, you have a few Zoo names, you have triple barrage, and that's basically what you need in your main deck. So like that added a lot of like flexibility for stuff, which is what ultimately I think is what makes it like for the time period like the more powerful thing.
Yeah. I like the splashability of Zoo is most definitely, I would say, the reason that it outperformed everything else, because every deck was Zoo. Like even this deck, you could argue you can just play Zoo. You can just put a fucking Rat Pier and like a package with barrages, Thoroughblade and Ram in here, and that's the deck.
Yep.
You got the deck now, and you can still play perfectly fine Pendulum Magicians in there, because pretty much nothing in here is like, well, you can't have that. That's illegal to have, which makes this and Zoo, in my opinion, both feel extremely oppressive. I didn't get to really showcase it, but Time Pendulum Graph is, I would say, one of the most frustrating cards that I ever had to play against during this period of time.
It's a really good one.
Yeah, like a card that sets up your play pattern using like Time Star Magician, especially like in this deck where the idea would have been I use Time Pendulum Graph to try to pop stuff and then protect it by sending a Pendulum Magician to the graveyard, giving me Zark material, while also destroying 2 cards or destroying 1 card you control and sending 1 card you control. Which, I'm gonna be honest, nasty. Like I wouldn't say that it's comparable to Masterpiece, because Masterpiece is active immediately, because like this thing is just nuts. Like legitimately, like having a pseudo towers of sorts that also is able to be summoned without having to pendulum summon, without having to do a lot of shit in general, and then just having access to an instant speed, or spell speed 2, spell speed 2 destruction is really crazy. Yeah.
I guess we saw also here that the benefit, I guess, of Time Pendulum Graph is you need the turn, but then you can just flip it up where you do need at least 3 cards to get Masterpiece on board, which didn't happen this time because I just drew so much non-engine.
Yeah, like for Time Pendulum Graph, even just having 1 card makes it active essentially, which is really interesting. Like you can literally summon out like a you can set a single scale, and you can set this thing and you can pass. Now you have a way of activating Chronograph. You have a way of activating Astrograph. And both of these cards, like I would say Chronograph obviously isn't that like good, right? It just summons itself and then allows you to special summon a monster from your hand. That's not very impressive in comparison to Astrograph. But as a trigger, it just allows you to go wider immediately and allows you to maybe play cards that allow you to interact with your opponent's board at that time. And I think that makes Pendulum Graph probably my most hated card from this era, because I had to deal with this kind of shit. I think Mixu had this deck for a while, and I know for a fact that like Sarud has talked about playing this deck, but I never remember him actually having piloted this. But it's like I played against this in the LGS so much that hate, absolute hate. But I still think it's a cool deck.
It is funny that you say like frustrating and mention Miko, and it's like I can immediately picture like, yep, that would check out.
Dude,
Mr.
that man
Value
playing Runic, playing Altergeist, playing Pendulum Magicians, playing Peleozoic. Brother in Christ.
Mr. Green and Blue.
It's kind of based, I'm not gonna lie. Catch it.
I don't know about that.
I do the same though. I mean, he plays the same decks that I essentially play, so it's kind of interesting.
EDH has been kind of ruined for me because like nowadays like the optimal stuff is either you go degenerate combo that wins on turn 3 or 4, even in more casual tables, or you just go crazy value engine, and I think both are really boring. So
I feel like that was like a shape that was starting to really take shape around the time that Eldraine came out, where like Kulane was a actual commander that you could play solely because of the fact that it generated so much value every time you played it.
Yeah, these days every commander just says draw a card in some degree. If it doesn't, then it's bad.
It's unplayable, yeah. Like, I hate this. I absolutely hate that direction because me personally, Maelstrom Wonder, that's the single best like deck that I have ever played. Like
I like
I,
when I like the EDH when games were ending around like turn 11, turn 12, and now it's half of that, even in like more casual tables. So it's kind of, I
it's like
don't really vibe with that.
it went from like a kitchen table or like kitchen table format, right? To being everybody having super powerful cards because they're really easily accessible, and that means that you're incentivized to get them because other people will be getting them, and it becomes, as I think you guys have used the term, arms race to a degree, which makes
Yeah,
sense as a like concept. But that's just how the game has become at this point.
yeah. Honestly, my biggest issue with it all is that it just becomes homogenous at some point when it's like you're always seeing the same. Like, all right, I go this thing into I go Arcane Signet, then I get my draw engine there, then I'm gonna play fucking. I think they banned it, which thank God. But I'm gonna play my Dockside Extortionist, which gets me 10 billion mana, which then lets me do this, which either now I win with my infinite combo or I have such crazy value engine that nobody can just catch up. And at some point it becomes all right. We're always seeing the same shit, which is like, all right,
Just ceases to be
this is
fun.
not interesting anymore.
Yeah, I like there was a period of time where you two and I were theory crafting how to take Maelstrom Wonder to like the absolute highest level that we thought it could be, and that involved getting so much fast mana that it came out on turn 3
Yeah.
every time. And I imagine that's just doable now, without like any hassle, and that feels bad because the actual line that we thought for it was shit like, oh, we need City of Traders.
Yeah,
You just buy City of Traders real quick, bro.
Yeah, I mean, now you just have a zero cost artifact that tells you that, hey, just add three of any mana to cast your commander.
That's
Like,
fucked. What do you mean?
I think it
What do you mean?
Jewel Lotus, I want to say what's the name, but it is just, it's a artifact that just gives you 3 mana immediately for your commander, and not like any commander anyways, like these days costs anything. If your commander is 7 mana, it reads win the game when this hits the board, and usually it's like 3 mana, which is like, all right, draw cards, loot, scry, fucking bang the opponent's girlfriend and steal their car, and it's like, bro, what the fuck does this thing not do? Well, it doesn't cook my meals, and like, brother.
No, but this guy does.
But I do, sir, when I cast this card, then I do get to search the partner, which actually cooks me meals and raises my family for me. Like,
it's
okay.
really interesting to me because like at the time then. Like, we're completely laid out of you know.
Yeah, I mean, this is fine. We're essentially at this point bringing back the podcast. But I guess, like, I mean, I don't have
talked
anything.
about these texts.
Yeah, we've talked about these. My thingy was it was just pure true Draco this time, and I played 46 cards because there were the only cards were one of the like Lecter cards, and then the Draco card that you were also playing in game one as one of your scales. And those were the only true Draco cards, so I needed a lot of like non-engine stuff there. There was like eccentric and then just terraformings and stuff like that. Obviously, unwavering bond, sorry, being just a pendulum hate card, so that was a easy inclusion. And then like Archfiend eccentrics and MSTs were stuff that I was gonna initially take out, but like when you were playing this card, and obviously as we talked about Time Pendulum Graph being kind of crazy, I was like, you know what, I actually want as much back row destruction as I can have, and also then having access to popping your scales obviously before you go into Time Star. But yeah, I don't have much else to talk about this, so.
Yeah, I also said pretty much my piece, and I showcased what this deck can kind of do. There's a lot more, like the level of play that this deck can actually perform at is extremely high. There's a reason why Astrograph is still limited to 1. That's about it. Double Iris was banned for ages because it's just a way of recurring this shit. It's a way of setting up Star Pendulum Graph. Like, for example, I made a mistake earlier. I added Time Pendulum Graph before I added Star Pendulum Graph, and I should have just added a Star Pendulum Graph with my Double Iris, because then I could have got, like, the value earlier with that, and instead of doing it later, and then blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
As we saw last week. But yeah, back to our podcast segment, which I guess we brought back at least for this week.
The Magic the Gathering, right?
Yeah.
So in my eyes, when I was still actively like building commander decks, for the most part, the commander had to do something, or had like at least had to be potentially more like powerful enough to impact the game on the same turn or following turn. And stuff like Rashmi, for example, was a really good example of this. Rashmi was a really good card that generated value or let you play shit for free, and it allowed you to have access to a billion different things that you probably would normally have access to. That was the thing that YouTube played for the most part. Then
Yeah.
Maelstrom Wonder is like the epitome of the other side of this, which is like this card does things. Immediately hits board, does a thing.
It was
Banging
double
commander.
cascade and give your other creatures haste, right?
All creatures haste.
All creatures, yeah.
All of it. And 7/5, so it's clock. You're just fucking clocked now. I'm gonna swing you 3 times, you're gonna lose the game, buddy. So you better get rid of this. Oh, but I have a billion ways of protecting it and bouncing it and returning to the field and casting it for free, because that's what the deck does now. And like that was how I thought about like commanders should be cards that do things when they hit the board and then maybe have an additional effect. But now it feels like it's the complete opposite, where it's like it doesn't fucking matter what your commander does. The commander just gives you the things to do the stuff with the deck.
Yeah, the big issue I have is just the speed, where it's like in the past where something that would have cost 7 mana is now 4 mana. And also you have just more accessible and better mana rocks that also just accelerates the game by extension that way. So it's essentially like the speed of the game has been almost doubled. Which like, because if I'm thinking of like year 1, year 2 of playing Commander, like I'm thinking of the power card. If there is one card that is like, all right, if this, we can limit this to enchantment. If this enchantment hits a field, like it needs to be gone or it immediately goes haywire, is Zendikar Expedition, which is a 5 generic and 2 green enchantment, and all the mana that you produce, your lands produce, is doubled, and whenever you cast a creature spell, you draw a card. You get more mana from that, and you get a you get a draw from that. And I don't remember what it was. That was it, smuggler something. There was something like a green green enchantment that also came later that was like 4 mana and did like a lot of the things that this thing did already. And then like obviously there's stuff like there's Mothering Tithe, there's 10 billion crazy artifacts, and then like also what you just said, like the issue with a lot of commanders basically being just like is some form of this draws a card or this finds something, where almost all of it is just boils down to like this by alone, but just by itself the commander is just a crazy value engine for you. And
which I don't think is interesting.
Yeah, and the main thing why also I feel this, I will say here though, like I've never been a very competitive player when it comes to EDH, and I will say that I also have gotten a lot of flack often about like, because I literally don't give a shit about winning to the point where it's like you're actively not trying to win and you're hindering the experience for other people. Just, well, I'll use the description that I sometimes use in general. Well, so my favorite deck of all time is it's just Dragon Tribal. I love playing tribal decks when it comes to MTG. I play Dragon and I sit on my big dumb fuck idiots. I'm the dragon sitting on my gold hoard, and I'm cool with everybody. But if somebody hits something that I own or attacks me, then I'm coming back with my fucking Dragon Force. I'm essentially what I always call myself. I'm a stage hazard. I'm here. The other 3 players, they're playing the game. They're playing King of the Hill. They're trying to be the last one standing on top of the hill. I'm the guy. I'm the guy on the opposite side of the street, taking care of my museum where I'm showcasing, yo, look at my cool shit. But the moment the people playing King of the Hill also, I don't know why I use King of the Hill, like could have used another ball game, but they are playing a ball game, like they're making noise there. It doesn't bother me. But the moment a baseball lands through my fucking window, I'm sending the Pinkertons to kill whoever did that.
Huh?
Like the Pinkertons are coming to kill whichever kid hit the. Okay, I don't know as a kid because now now I made it weird. But essentially, like to me, it is just basically a social game. I'm there to chat shit and usually drink, and that's what I'm doing when we're playing Magic. And when the game lasts for 5 turns and it ends on someone talking for 10 minutes when they're doing their crazy game winning turn, it's like, all right, but I'm trying to tell you what the shape of my shit was yesterday, and you're here yapping about your combo, and there are 17 times where now someone needs to think like, all right, are we interacting here? So it's essentially, it's a lot of the times it's just a clash of priorities, but mostly it ends up being just the issue of, oh, I like playing where I'm like, I'm here to showcase, like, I'm just putting my nuts on the table. I'm like, admire my nuts. But a lot of the times, I get halfway done to undoing my zipper, and at that point, someone's already like, yeah, he has the best nuts, and I'm like, brother, my balls are still in my pants. Like, I'm literally. Like, imagine the scene from American Psycho where they're admiring each other's cards, and it's like somebody's like, all right, let's see this guy's card, and he's like, all right, he adjusts his suit, and then it's like, all right, we don't care anymore, let's take a look at the other guy's card. Like, dude, I have a sick fucking platinum card, you didn't even give me the opportunity to show it. And this is very much a me problem, but it is mostly, it's a combination of like just them constantly pushing the power level, which has happened a lot. I think like you kind of nailed it when you were talking about the Eldraine. I think Eldraine was kind of the turning point. Up until that point, I usually felt like games were pretty much the same, but I feel like after Eldraine, like not only did they start printing a lot more product, because obviously it's their most popular format, so it makes them the most money. They like money, so
yeah, they started with the Brawl, and then they realized, oh, Brawl is shit. We should just focus on
Commander. Yeah,
focus on Commander.
And like it prints some money, so they like money. So like I think it's gotten better now, but there was a time period also where it was literally like there was a spoiler season for a Commander product, and before, or a set that had a lot of Commander stuff in it or anything, but there was literally a spoiler season for something, and literally before the product that was being spoiled came out, started a spoiler season for a new product where there was like, they were printing an out product like fucking crazy. Now this was like, I think around COVID times, which obviously like I feel like all card games crazy blew up around COVID times and like right after COVID. So, and I'm pretty sure like I want to say this was like 2022. So they were like just crazy printing products, which obviously also escalated, and because they want to sell the abundance of product that they have, everything needs to have like, all right, it's now here's a crazy new cool new thing. Sometimes, and I'll give them credit, sometimes it was like cool new stuff, but a lot of times it was also just like, here's this thing that does this thing that the earlier thing did, but just a little better. Here's another like super accessible mana rock that obviously accelerates the game. So a lot of stuff that like bit by bit just accelerated the game to the point where it's like, all right, I don't really vibe with this anymore. And then obviously if it's a bunch of small increments, they add up really quickly, especially when in a singleton format where already like you're kind of incentivized, like either you have a really consistent combo that you can always get to, or you can just, obviously the easy way is just you pile a bunch of fucking value engines on top of each other, because then it doesn't matter if your deck is all value stuff, it doesn't matter which part of the value stuff you draw, as long as it's like, all right, I'm not only drawing card draw, I'm not only drawing mana generation. As long as you have a like nice split of everything, you have a consistent flow of everything that you need in the game of Magic. And this all like kind of I lost the word, but I guess culminated kind of works here. It's not what I'm looking for, but it kind of culminated in what ended up being like a constant like escalation of the format, which ultimately ends with like,
it's kind of led to,
yeah,
it all led to.
Yeah, exactly. And in the end, like, it ends up being like you basically need to like do table talk beforehand, which it's relatively easy because I play with my friends and we're like pretty casual when we play anyway. So a lot of times it works, but some people obviously they want to win, like even still that like, and there's finally the thing where it's like there's also human bias where someone think like this is okay. Final point, because I don't want this to just turn into me ranting for 20 minutes, but like kind of applies to a lot of games, especially like FGs as well. If you're asking someone, how powerful is your deck? How good is your character? No fucking human being is giving you the honest review. It's like, my deck is actually powerful. Yeah, it's like a 9. If the deck that the person is asked about, if it's actually a 9 power, okay, 9 is too high. Let's say it's a 8.5 power level, and the person is asked, what's the power level of your deck so we can match things here? 99% of people are gonna say it's like a 7. Nobody, like literally nobody is telling you, oh yeah, it's 8.5, it's really strong. And there's just something about like the human nature that does that. And it's then you sit down and you're playing, and this is also grain of salt and note, then I'm sitting down and we're playing, and I'm looking at the dude do stuff. I'm like, oh, that shit is no 7. Like, I thought my shit was 7. Compared to that shit, my shit's like a 3. And I will say, like, a lot of times it is like my decks are not great because like I said, I play fucking tribal decks where it's like, all right, let me go on not EDA truck. What's the fucking gatherer? Let me go on gatherer. Let me search up dragons. All right, I'll throw in shit that mentions dragons into my deck, and that's the deck. So it's not powerful. So by comparison, a lot of things are gonna be powerful, but still, like, especially then when there's the like big difference in power, it's like, and also addendum to that is like one. I'm also a human, so I'm probably like also feeling like my deck is worse than it actually is. So there's like, oh, yeah, we're not playing in the same fucking game even in this situation, and all of that just kind of adds to like, it's kind of whatever. But at the end of the day, like these days, and I've kind of also grown to accept it. I also think that like my friends have gotten better about it, and in general, like I feel like a lot of people just don't feel like spending a lot of money on getting all the new hotness anyway. And at some point when it's like, all right, it does the exact fucking same thing but better, it's like, how many times do I actually give a shit about this when like already the stuff is powerful enough? So at this point, like, when I'm sitting down to play a game of Commander and I'm grabbing one of my 30 something decks that I have, it's too many. Don't build fucking 30 decks.
30.
I want to say 32.
Bro, I don't have one.
I can check after this, but I want to say 32. But I will say I'm a cheapskate, so I recite any card that costs more than 50 cents. I'm not buying dupes of it, and that's why I make it like putting together decks is a fucking pain, because I need to go through over 30 decks to see which fucking deck currently has that card. So that's also kind of what has killed a lot of my like motivation to play. But basically, like, when I'm sitting down to play game of Commander, I'm like, if I cast 3 spells in this game, I'll be happy. I'm just here. People can showcase their cool shit. I'm here to shoot shit verbally, and we'll see what happens. But that's the, I'll say, annual. No more Magic the Gathering ranting on the Weebfox YouTube channel about Magic the Gathering for the rest of 2025. But that's the annual rant of the state of Commander done. So thank you for listening. That was, I said, like, I prefaced that by saying I don't want to go on for like 20 minutes, and I'm pretty sure I went on for almost 15. So yeah, that's my bad. That's my bad.
I mean, we invited this essentially, right? We invited this by discussing Magic the Gathering. It was inevitable. One of us was gonna go off, right?
That's fair. But yeah, now I did the thing which I hate facing, which is somebody talking for such a long time that I won the duel. That
You won the duel?
I forget what I was gonna talk about, so now I did it myself, and now I'm gonna ask you. So what do you think? Also, I'll check how many decks do I have.
What do I think of Commander? Well, in all honesty, I don't have
27.
that much of a connection with the 27. That's fucking insane. So I have no Commander decks. All of my Commander decks were things that I was just like, I don't give enough of a fuck to have this in my apartment even. So I'm just gonna leave this at Yuto's place, so that whenever I happen to be like, hey, I want to play Commander, he's probably gonna have my deck with him. If he's gonna be at the LGS as well, so I might as well just give it to him
Yeah,
and have him play it if he wants to.
I don't
And then
know
I
if
just
this
kinda
shows up, but
forgot
it's
about them
basically like
entirely.
if you can see the decks there, you can basically the themes. I guess I can also pull them
That's
up here.
insane.
But it's basically like
This is-
for me, it's a lot of time. I just find a fucking theme and I stick with it.
fair. But yeah, I can't really speak for the modern state of Commander right now, because last time I played a match of Commander was in like 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was barely post Eldraine, pretty much. Like we were not even social.
5 years ago.
Yeah, Eldraine came out in 2019.
When I'm gonna hate the answer to this question. When did Rivals of Ixalan come out?
Rivals of Ixalan was like 7 years ago, I think.
That's crazy. So that's just
Double
my
checking.
reminder
2018,
to...
yeah, 7 years ago.
Fuck. Because that was the... I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that was the newest set when I started.
That's insane.
I
Like that was
used
also
a
when I started playing
Minecraft
stuff.
promotion card as the placeholder for my Gishat before it arrived with my dinosaur tribal deck. Because of course, like the way they would get me to play a card game, I wasn't that all interested. It was like you can play dinosaurs, and there was
Play
just a new
dinosaurs.
dinosaur deck.
And now you're here,
And now I'm
7
here.
years later.
Look at us. Look at us.
Look at this. Oh, I'm so
Now,
sorry.
now here, my 2/3 of my
No.
channel attributed to card games.
It's unfortunate to think about that this all came about because some autistic guy decided that he was gonna go play some Yu-Gi-Oh at a local game store. Right?
Life
Some
truly is a
Blue Eyes White
wonderful
Dragon.
thing.
Some
How-
Blue Eyes White Dragon structure deck with not even Azure Eyes in it. Yep.
The circle
Shoutouts
of
to Yuta,
life.
by the way.
Me?
No, Yuta.
Oh yeah, Yoda. Yes. He also got me into. I mean, I guess it was a combination.
That's
of him and
what I'm
Yuta, but
implying.
yeah.
Like, I'm implying that this basically came about due to him coming into the local game store just randomly after school one time. It was like, I got this Yu-Gi-Oh card, and then
That's how the circle began. And now, then the monkeys were curled, and now two dumb fucks are talking about Magic Gathering in the episode 114 of a Yu-Gi-Oh series, which is
11 years later.
yeah. Damn,
That's insane.
that is crazy.
But unfortunately, I'm gonna have to cut us off here.
That's
I have a
perfect.
rating about
We've been here for an hour and 15 minutes, so it's all good. I'm glad that you could lead us out of that. So, with the final departing words for this, we do have one more set to go of Arc 5. Literally, it's the last time I'm gonna click this button here to put us on the classic board. It is Battles of Legend Light's Revenge. I think, question mark. It is.
we're playing heroes. We're playing heroes. We're playing heroes.
Battles of Legend Light's Revenge. And it is going to be the final episode before we enter the modern Link era. But I will remind, final thing before we get out of here, I will remind you that at the start we will go by Master Rule 4. So you need Link monsters summon anything out of the extra deck, but I think we've mentioned this at least once in passing in a previous episode. We will go into Master Rule 5 way earlier than it actually happened in the game's lifespan, but it would feel weird to not at least showcase sometime when it was actually that how it was, where it's you literally need Link monsters for everything. I wanna say, in terms of like set releases, it'll be about a year before it actually happens, that weird transition into that, but I'll have to check that, and it's not relevant yet. We'll still, one more time, we will play in Arc 5, in the Arc 5 and the Pendulum era and Master Rule 3 next week with Battles of Legend Light's Revenge. So thank you for watching this episode. I don't if you made it thus far, in your comment put Jeexx, give us a word that wouldn't come up normally.
I was gonna say magnanimous, but I think people might just automatically say that.
Yeah, that's
I think it's ignominious.
ignominious.
Is
Okay.
the opposite
Perfect.
of magnanimous.
If you made it thus far somehow through the magic rant section, in somewhere in your comment include knight ignominious as in quotation marks. So I know that some of you are as crazy as we are, and also why did you listen to that? But also thanks, I guess. Thanks for the ad revenue that we're not getting. I do appreciate it though, because if we did, then I would know that, hey, I got an extra cent or something of that. But yeah. Thank you so very much for watching. Thank you for sticking with us. 114 episodes is crazy. And well, there's still a lot in store, and there's still a lot of changes. Not a lot of changes. Some changes that we're making, some of which Jeexx is aware of, and some of which might be a surprise to him as well. But for a little while now, the hand trap thing is the only thing that we're changing. So we will stick to that. We'll be here for one last swan song of Arc 5 next week. Thank you so very much for watching. Have a great week, and we will see you next time.